Hello.
There you go. Hi, Jessica.
How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
This is my husband, Mark Reynolds.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, great, excellent. So we are live. I have this live streaming on Facebook right now. We're just waiting for Mr. Frank to join us. Let's see. Jessica are here.
I'll tell Jessica about what Mark was planning to do. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. You can go right ahead.
Yeah. Mark is a reporter for the Southern Ulster Times, and he's planning to do an article for Ulster, the Ulster area. You want to tell him?
Yeah, I mean, I met Michelle just online and did an interview with her when she was running, and we ran a story during that time. So I think this is a timely piece that has been bothering a lot of people in our area, as well as down where Jacob is, Long Island. So I think it might be a kind of a good thing to do. And I know Michelle has one of her campaign promises was that she was going to push to get some of the counties up way in the north, which don't even have anything. So that that'll be a point. At some point, I'll reach out to her. We'll do an interview on the phone or whatever.
Great.
So, I guess we should just do formal introductions. I'm Jacob. I'm the Director of Technology here at Tri-State Coalition for Fair Internet. I manage all the social media and our website, the outreach efforts. We have Frank, who it looks like is trying to join.
I'm here.
Hey.
There you are.
Can we record this, Jacob?
Yeah, it is recording. It's actually live streaming on Facebook right now, so it'll be it'll be saved there on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Frank is the man in charge here. He's the one who started the original effort, and we kind of met up and started to grow this. And I think we've got a fairly decent following. We're starting to get a lot of groundswell, a lot of grassroots connections. Everyone seems to have the same idea in mind, that there's a lot of issues, a lot of questions not being answered, there's no resolution to these issues, it seems. A lot of places don't have any options, but they would switch from the data we've collected, and that's what we're trying to fight for, is more options. We want there to be more competition in the market, and we also want Optimum and Altice to, have some kind of, I don't know if it's like an investigation, something for them to answer and, really dig into why are there so many problems and why are there so many of the same problems across the entire tri-state area. Even we have people in Connecticut and New Jersey. They just had a hearing and they got a lot of good feedback there. So that's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do.
Great. One thing I found that was really interesting was this kind of alliance that's formed between, the tri-state area, but then it's also like up in Ulster County as well, that we're kind of seeing these same issues. So
all of New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut, all three of those, all together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, I can tell you for a fact I've actually been in contact with people as far up north as Buffalo, and also just slightly further north than where Kid and her husband are, in Sullivan County, and they really have an interesting take on the problem. One person I spoke to in Buffalo the other day told me that he's actually getting his cable service, believe it or not, through Canada, because that's how close they are to the Canadian border. The signal can travel, but evidently not the Optimum's cable. So that's another issue that eventually we're going to have to address. But right now, the main thing is a lack of accountability and an absolute total disregard for anything that even comes close to customer service.
Yeah. Yep.
Frank, is the fellow up there in Buffalo, is he experiencing the lack of multiple companies? There's only one game in town.
The only game in town up there, I think, is I forget what it wasn't Optimum. It was
Maybe Spectrum.
No, Jacob, do you have the? I'm not at my computer. I'm sorry. I'm in my car right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the map up there? Look up the region around Buffalo. Who's the primary?
Yeah, I'll check right now. Let's see. So if we only are looking at cable and fiber, so for the Buffalo area, yeah, there's a large swath of only one provider in the city of Buffalo, and it is entirely Spectrum.
Wow.
That's okay. So that's got to be it, because he's in one of the last few towns that exist before you get to the border.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't know what.
Jessica, I was wondering if you could catch us up on where it is with where Michelle's at in terms of pushing this forward and making it more available, not only to the very rural, but even to other towns like down here that only have one provider.
Yeah, we're new to office, and this is a new issue for us that we're learning. As you all know, the budget just passed, and we were really, happy to see the new developments that were made, in terms of like taking it down from like the census block level to the tract level, and how that kind of gives us a better idea. She's been, pretty steadfast in telling folks that, we need to know where the problems are to be able to really do something about this. And like we've seen across the district and across the state, these efforts for people kind of on the ground doing their own mapping and census making. So it's really, we've seen this huge opportunity for the state to come in and to really, start doing the mapping correctly. And, we were really glad to see that. In terms of pushing for funding constantly and just making sure that we can get folks in, that's been her number one priority. Going into the broadband conversation, we were also really happy to see, the $15 internet go through the budget as well, which should be coming out in a few months as well. So, we're just looking to help our constituents with getting connected to that where they need. And yeah.
Did Jacob share the data? Jacob, did you share the data from the survey with Jessica?
Yes, I did. Did you get the chance to review that at all?
I was looking on the website. I'm not sure if I got any kind of files. I was trying to see if we could see what.
He sent me an Excel file, and it's great. I mean, the comments on there, you have to read it. It's really amazing.
So what I'm going to do, let's see if I'm going to try to do this while we're live streaming. Let's see. I'm going to pull up on my other screen here.
And I think you said, Jacob, I don't want to talk to you while you're working, but I think you said we had 330 people up around here, right, that filed, that did the survey. I think that's what you said.
330 people total across the tri-state area.
Oh, okay.
So let me see. I'm going to share my screen right now. And I mean, even if it's not from that specific area, you can see it's pretty consistent, no matter what the market is.
Right.
So I'm going to share my screen. I hope you can see right now.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure that this is on the live stream as well.
Yeah, there it is.
Nope, it's not. So I'm going to pull that over here. I'm going to change. This is new to us. I'm learning how to do this live stream thing. So I'm going to switch that over to this side and then share that. That should work. Okay, so now we're live streaming and I can see it on Facebook. Good. So if we look here, this is just a short summary of the responses that we have so far.
Yeah.
And if we come down here, so we're looking at specific comments or just overall experiences?
I was really amazed with the comments. I mean, graphs are nice and as an overview, but the comments are really what grabbed me.
So we have those here. I will even open it up and I'll limit it to only.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, which is the green? Which is the green?
That's just for me. Those are people that signed up for our blog.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah, look at this.
So what counties do we want to look at? We want to look at. Let's see. Let's filter.
Ulster.
Ulster's one. What else do you want to see, Jessica?
I know in our district we cover parts of Ulster. We have all of Greene County, parts of Albany and Schenectady County, and then all of Montgomery County. But I'm not sure it goes all the way out to Montgomery.
So, yeah, I don't have any from any of those. The only one I have here is Ulster that was responded so far. But
Okay.
just for the kind of surrounding area, I guess I can throw in like Dutchess,
Yeah.
maybe Rockland, Orange. Just
Yeah.
some of the surrounding area there, maybe.
Yeah.
Westchester's a little further down.
Yeah.
So that is 28 responses from those, and you can see it's people really have a lot to say. Has a monopoly in our town, charge outrageous amounts, prices increase constantly. I'm told I have to spend more money. They cancel my service without speaking to me. Worst customer service. Let's see. Infrastructure is old and outdated. Not cost effective to upgrade. And these are all different people. The bills are going up. There's no transparency on the billing. They will increase it after these so-called promotional periods end without informing us ahead of time what the prices are going to be. But then I can supposedly change them when we call and complain, threaten to cancel. It's very easy for them to say, okay, you can stay, we'll give you a cheaper rate.
Yeah, and it lasts for a month.
And then it's going to go right back.
Yeah.
Jessica, has there been any, in the new state budget, has there been any more money allocated towards expansion of internet and competition?
To my knowledge, yes, and I can, follow up with more information about that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she should have a copy of these comments, at least.
I sent the entire spreadsheet to her.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Jacob, it's Frank. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yay.
Okay. Did we also give Jessica a copy of the letter that we sent to Leticia James?
No, but I can send that. I can absolutely send her a copy of that letter.
Right. So, Jessica, one of the things that, speaking for myself, I think that you might be very interested in seeing is a letter that I wrote along with Jacob, who also handles the technical part of things, which in essence spells out the entire situation to basically down to a certainty for legal purposes. That's a letter that we actually sent for the social justice and antitrust divisions of Leticia James's office up in Albany.
Yeah, because we had one of our volunteers. We were able to connect with someone who works at that office, and they had told us, that she presented what we're doing to the AG's office, and like Frank said, the antitrust and social justice divisions were very interested in what we're doing, and they wanted to hear more of these cases.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I'd love to see that letter as well. And of course, we're always happy to be advocates for, our constituents that are clearly, as the data shows, all experiencing these really negative experiences with Leticia. So, we'd love to see that, and any of the, further data that you can provide would be great.
Right. So
one of the things I'm curious about is what are you and your staff experiencing up where you are? I would imagine that if our own representatives are also experiencing this, it must be also from personal experience, rather than also from constituents. Do you guys have the same issues that we have?
So we have a huge district. We span 5 counties, so we have collected all different experiences from people. It is so regional. We've had quite a lot of people talking about spectrum. From my own personal experience, I live right outside of Albany. I've never had an issue with my internet provider before, but we have heard, lots and lots of different, very varying experiences. And it's been a pretty daunting task to come into, such a huge district like this and just trying to listen and hear of, where the problem areas are, where these, huge swaths of land that are just not covered. And, a lot of that does come down to kind of the census block issue from before. So, that's just kind of been my experience. And as we continue in, we're only a few months into office, we're just learning more and more about, where these areas are. So, and this is obviously one of them.
Yeah, it's very exciting to see that in the new revised budget. I actually wrote a blog post about it, learning not only about the discounts for low-income families. That's a huge change. But I was also very interested to see that the Public Service Commission is going to be reviewing accessibility, reliability, and affordability of internet service across the state. And I was very excited. I saw public hearings were going to be involved in that. So that's where we want to get involved. You know, what can we do to help the state bring those voices together, to bring these comments to the table for those hearings? I know New Jersey just did something very similar. They had 75 people call in. I listened in, and for their Board of Public Utilities, it was very interesting to hear all of these negative comments. And I'm in an email conversation with their Division of Rate Counsel right now. They had asked, after reviewing those comments, they said formally, we want the Board of Public Utilities to investigate Optimum for all of, there's like 7 or 8 different points, including possibly fraud. Are they meeting the regulatory requirements from the merger with Altice? Lots of different points, and I'm sure the similar thing is going to happen here in New York.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's like the downstate, upstate, it's going to be an annual thing. So we're looking forward to hearing from that. I think it's going to be really helpful, especially for upstate, where we've seen the largest effect on, rural broadband being a huge issue. So, we're looking forward to it.
Right.
Jessica, what was that $15 a month thing you were mentioning earlier?
The cap.
Yep. So there's in the budget we passed internet for folks who are low income. I think you qualify if you're on either like Medicaid, Social Security.
I see.
I can get more information on that as well. I just don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah. Mark, I have that on our blog. If you want to go look at our website, I have a detailed summary of everything that's in that bill.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I can tell you the schools are very happy.
That's good.
I just did a story on the foundation aid. They're very happy.
Yeah, both of my parents are in education, so we've been talking quite a lot about that.
So I guess I would ask, what can we do as an organization to help you as a representative of the state? What do you need from us?
Truly, it's the contact that we really appreciate. We welcome anyone who's having concerns like that they think that we may be able to assist with to reach out with us, and chances are we likely can. So whether it is like more of a systematic issue where there's huge parts that are just not covered, or you just need to get in contact with someone who could potentially give you a solution, we're really happy to get folks connected with that. On the constituent side of things, on the legislative side of things, advocacy is so greatly appreciated. We have a meeting request form, if broadband committees across the state, want to sign up for that, we'd be happy to speak with them and to hear their concerns, just as we're doing right now. But really for us, and especially again with this huge district that we have, we're really just trying to figure out, where these spots are, where these concerns are happening. And we can only really do that if we, are engaged and, it's a two-way street. We want to reach out as much as possible, but things like this are so helpful for us to be able to do our job and do our advocacy.
I know Congressman Delgado has spoken about the importance of this too. Have you guys been able to link up with him at all?
I'm not sure. I'm on the constituent side of things, so I'm not typically on the legislative side, but I can have someone follow up with you on that.
Because I know he's definitely, campaigned on that and talks about it a lot.
Well, they're talking about getting internet to the rural areas is really the focus. And even you sound like that's what your focus is too. I'm hoping that we can deal with the antitrust laws and make sure they're strengthened and enforced.
Right.
Well, I've actually been doing quite a bit of reading on antitrust, as I usually would. Mm-hmm. And I think that right now the larger issue is enforcement of the laws that are already on the books.
Right.
So I'm not sure how we go about that exactly, but
our
that's something we need to address.
Our legislators have to help us.
Yeah, because one of the biggest things that we find is for a majority of the people that have these problems, like 9 out of 10 of them would switch to another provider. They would happily switch if they had that option, but
our choice.
Some people maybe in around New York City, there's more providers. Some parts of upstate, there may be more options. You can switch to Verizon or Spectrum, or even a smaller provider, which we promote. We like lifting up smaller startups. But there's a large amount of people that just don't have that option. They can't switch if they want to.
That's right.
And that's, Optimum, that's one of the big ones down here. And I guess that goes for any large provider that covers a large area. They have no impetus to improve their service or customer service if they know that no one's going to cancel. They know that people aren't going to switch. So what effort do they need to put in to make things better? They know that they have a captive audience. And that's a problem.
I was talking to somebody the other day in Poughkeepsie, and they have a choice. They have Optimum and they have Verizon, and they can switch. And she said they do. They'll cancel and go to the other one, and then they get a lower price, and then they go back. So they switch. But we have no choices here.
But Jacob, you're also right that these like Optimum, they say they're going to provide a certain speed and a certain megabytes, but they don't. Mm-hmm. So people have very slow service, or they have little at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I'm actually living proof of that. My cable service went down yesterday. It's been down ever since.
Yeah.
I'm actually coming to you right now from my car on over the radio on my T-Mobile.
Right. Somewhere on Long Island.
Yanya's waving.
Literally have nothing in the house. My wife just got home. Nothing. Not a thing.
Wow. They're on to you, Frank.
Yeah, tell me.
Sorry, I just ran inside of this little coffee shop just to quickly jump on camera with y'all because I know this is a really important conversation for everyone. Mm-hmm. And I definitely want to share, idea, especially I want to share with the team, but Jessica here, I'm hoping that it's okay to share it. But I know we was talking about community engagement, and I'm hearing as far as what can we do. And I thought to myself, being that myself is an Optimum user, and my main thing is that I am paying the amount that I was told that I had to pay. The only thing is that the struggle is that a lot of people are afraid to get cut off because they're charging late fees and that. So I noticed that certain organizations started doing basically not a GoFundMe, but something to raise money for those people that are being threatened to get cut off because of the lies or the services that we were told. So it's kind of creating something like that to show, especially with data, showing how many people are not getting proper service and how much money is being lost from people. I think just keeping that, because numbers make sense, I thought. And I'm noticing this company is promising certain numbers and services. And I think the only way to show and realize that back is try to get numbers and say, okay, this person came and said, you guys are charging them $100 a month now. And on their bill charge, it was told $30 a month. So now that's a $70 fee they have to pay. But obviously they can't afford that. So, we're going through a lot of time. So it's trying to see how can we also support, hey, we know that they're charging you guys this, just let us pay it off, but keep track of that, knowing how much they're trying to overcharge throughout the months that you've been with them, or people that have been with 2-year contracts, So I'm noticing that, especially when I went last week to an event that we did outside, just quickly asking people about Optimum. And then most people kept saying is that they just quickly pay because they're afraid to get cut off, but they don't have that money. And now when they can't pay, they get cut off and now we're out of service. Because again, I live in a really underserved community and we don't have a choice at all. So it's down to understanding the treatment and understanding the amount of funding that is being spent throughout the time frame. Because like I said, I'm hearing everybody say we will promise only $20 a month or $30. And next thing you know, their bill is $100 something. So we need to just I thought to myself, just keeping track of that and probably trying to raise money to show that we have to give back money because of their services being poorly, and just try to keep people connected. We're just trying to keep everybody connected. So I just thought that would be
to add something. I had someone reach out to me asking about that new legislation. I should add really quick, Keonia is one of our regional outreach reps from the Brooklyn area. So that's the area she covers. But with the low income bill, the internet,
New York budget, yeah,
it's going to be $15 a month from what I read for people who have SNAP or are on food stamps or on Medicaid, low-income families. They'll be capped at $15 per month for their service. Someone raised a good point. What's preventing the provider, Optimum, from then passing those expenses on to the rest of the customers?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
They will be forced to, which is good.
And that's not for packages. That's just for internet.
That's just for internet. They're gonna say, okay, fine, we'll give our $15 a month plans to those low income families, but then they could argue, oh well, it's gonna cost us. We're losing so much money on those customers. Now we have to raise the prices of everyone else. You know, there's not a lot of regulation going on there.
Right, right.
Yep.
Right, and you know, we take that very seriously, and I think like as we start to learn more about how this is going to come out, we'll have more information about, you know, how that'll look.
Good.
Right.
Would that be against the law to do that, though?
What's that?
No, I was asking, would that be something like lawfully if we were to raise money to help people that were in need with Optimum going through that, you know, the crisis as far as in having no choice but to pay, but obviously expressing that they weren't being able to pay in a way. Like, I don't know how to express it. Like, I guess I was thinking about this conversation I just had with this lady, and it was just really overwhelming to hear. And I was just like, wow, I can understand, like I said, the pain of certain people that feels like they have no choice. You're like, I don't have $70, but they're asking, and it's the only way I can stay connected to the world. So it's just like, I wish we could have had like a link to send them to say, hey, give us your Optimum bill. We'll try to do something about it. I don't know if that's a law that we can do, or if that against the law that we can get into that. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Well, I guess the important thing to do is to educate people as much as we can, especially in your area, Keonia, about if there is an area where there may be another option. I know I told you about New York City Mesh, which is a nonprofit startup that is offering internet service to a large part of New York City, and they're growing through their members. They're not asking for, you know, regular service, but they accept donations. It's really incredible that they want to do that for people in New York City. They have volunteers working to do these installations. So stuff like that, municipal, you know, this is where it's come to, where we have so many people putting in all this effort and work to do what the large companies aren't doing for us.
Right.
Now, on the subject of outreach, Jessica, I wonder if it would be beneficial. We recently printed a bunch of flyers. They're actually quite nice. They came in the other day, and they have a QR code that's superimposed on the on the document that anybody can scan. I mean, just using your whatever phone you have on you. I wonder if that might be something that might be worth distributing in your area to your constituents.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to take a look at it and just to see. I think this has been, you know, something that we've seen across the district has been like kind of grassroots efforts like this to collect data. So yeah, I mean, if you'd like to send that to me, I'd be happy to look at it.
Okay. Do we have a mailing address?
Well, I can send her a copy of the PDF, and you know we can send up our own copies, but I'm sure they could easily print those as well with the digital copy.
Okay.
Yeah, Frank, are you going to send me some? I had a guy ask me for a few here, so.
Right. So, I one of the things I was going to point out, I actually just got them the other day. I posted a picture, of one of them on, I don't know, wherever Jacob told me to post it is where I posted it. And they actually do look nice. They're sitting on my dining room table right now while I figure out how to distribute them. So to the extent that we ended up getting 250 of those flyers, they were just kind of sent in a loose form, and I will mail them out. I do have the addresses for the folks that have already requested them. So that's going to be the next day or two.
Good.
Jessica, also, if you could keep us posted on any sort of legislation that crosses up in Albany that gets presented in whatever form that might pertain to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does the committee that Michelle Hinchey is on, she's on the committee that is bringing internet to rural communities, isn't she? Same as Delgado, right?
She's on several different ones that all kind of wrap into that. You know, as a senator for a rural district, she's also constantly working with our other rural colleagues on that as well. So. Yeah,
so maybe keep us posted on that, the updates of that, any improvements.
So this has been really enlightening. I want to thank you, Jessica, for taking the time to speak with us today. Do you have any questions for us? Anything that we can answer for you about why you came here, you took the time today? I'm sure you have questions for us.
I know I spoke with Kat on the phone just before this, and she had mentioned this, and I knew that I wanted to hop on as soon as possible just to kind of hear this perspectives on this. If I can add though, like if you're talking to folks and they could really use like a liaison, our office is always here to help our constituents. I can send along our office contact information, my contact information, but we're very, very happy to help people out. And again, like just continue to keep on. I think, the louder you are, it is so incredibly helpful across the board. So, and thank you very, very much for having me on as well. This has been really I'm incredibly glad to, suspend this.
Happy to have you.
Yeah, nice to have you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
All
All right.
All right. Have a good night, all.
All right. Thanks, Jacob.